Hi everyone. So today I'm going to be presenting a topic. So let's take a look in what is our topic today. All right, so it's empathy. So empathy is something that we are all born with. It's a trait in us as human beings. Some people has great empathy, some people have low empathy. But all in all, every human being has empathy. So in general, woman has more empathy compared to men. So empathy is something that we are not focusing on quite often compared to other traits such as hardworking, etc. This is because we do not understand what is empathy. So today I'm going to be explaining a bit of empathy. So what is empathy? Empathy is the ability to understand, being sensitive, and vigorously experiencing the feelings, thoughts, and experience of another. In the context of customer support, this means putting yourself in your customer's shoes, putting yourself in their perspective, and simultaneously trying to address their problems with an unprecedented understanding of what they are going through. So, with empathy, customers or people will feel like they're being heard, their concerns are being taken seriously, and you are doing everything you can to help them. A recent research by Dixa, a company that offers platform to help companies to provide better and more consistent customer service across multiple channels, found that 96% of consumers across the US and UK found that empathy from customer service agents is important. And globally, 59% of people say they look for higher quality in customer care. This shows the importance of empathy in today's time. So here's one of the example of a well-known person, Gary Vee. He mentioned that empathy is one of the most central ingredients of who he is and how he operates. It helps him to communicate contextually, feeds his curiosity and his social listening. Gary mentioned that it has been the foundation to his life and business with empathy. Once you're empathetic, you recognize why people behave the way they do. He deploys empathy and kindness against hate because he knows it takes more strength to be empathetic than to be hateful. From the outside, people think that those who come with negativity and aggression have the advantage in the interaction. He knows it is the reverse. So once you figure that out, it often has very little to do with you. It's easy not to care, to respond to them with kindness. So when we're speaking about empathy, there's three types of empathy. So the first one is cognitive, basically the ability to know how someone is feeling or someone is thinking. The second one is emotional empathy, whereby it's the ability to share someone's feelings. Say someone is crying, you probably can feel the feelings and emotions that can lead you to cry as well. So both cognitive and emotional empathy is more of an internal process whereby we think and feel, whereas compassionate empathy is beyond simply an internal process of understanding. Rather, it is a process of giving help. So let's take an example. A customer called in and started scolding us. You can first apply cognitive empathy. Begin imagining what are they going through? Why are they so angry? How is their current state going to affect them? Then proceed with emotional empathy. Try to connect with something in yourself that you can relate to the feeling of anger or disappointment. If you have nothing to relate to, maybe you can at least try to imagine it. So once you've done that, move on to compassionate empathy. Stay calm, listen to their complaints, help to identify the cause of their dissatisfaction, and provide them the adequate solutions. So let's take an example in improving customer support empathy. So the first step we do is acknowledging your customer's concerns. So customers will come in for customer support with emotions like frustrations, misunderstanding, and this can put tension on the conversation. So Remember always to acknowledge the concern first. This is because in a psychological term named communication chain, it tells us that when the person conveys a verbal message or a link in the chain, like in the picture, they naturally expect a response. So when there's none, the chain is unlinked or broken. So acknowledging a customer's problem is that response that links the chain together and leaves them with a feeling of connection, putting the customer more at ease. It shows that you understand and you are ready to get into solving the issue. So the second thing we can do is practice active listening. At times, we will have customers who are not good at explaining their issues. So what we can do is try not to tell them we don't understand them. Instead, can try paraphrasing to confirm our understanding through the explanation. Basically, use affirmations. So in customer supports who are using messaging like WhatsApp messengers rather than direct calls, we have you will have the advantage as you have more time to digest the message and be able to provide a more thorough responses. So the next thing we can do is to look at things from your customer's perspective, which is relating to the cognitive empathy. So look at the things, put yourself in your customer's shoes, get a better understanding of the issue, and then how you will feel if you were in the exact same situation. So this will help you to adopt your customer's viewpoint and look at the problem in a completely different perspective or different light. So the next thing we can do is always overcome your bias. There's no type or any kind of prejudice that's going to work in our favor. For example, an elderly man is making an inquiry about an application or a system. And because we have bias that they're probably old people, they might not be so tech savvy. So probably it's because they don't know how to use the system. It's not the system problem. So if we start the conversation with that kind of bias, the conversation is already leading to a state of doom. So the next one we can do is always use a positive language. You can take the picture for example. We can instead of saying things like we have never had this issue before, could have said it in a more positive way whereby I appreciate you bringing this to our attention. So some other examples of things that we shouldn't say, which carries a negative tone to it, is like, I can't help you. No, it's not possible. Please calm down. Instead, we can be more positive with it and we say, I'm happy to help. I completely understand. I really appreciate your patience. So one of our last ways to improve customer support empathy in this presentation is try to create a genuine connection, just like the film E.T., whereby an alien from a different planet is able to make a genuine connections of friendship with a boy from Earth. So here in customer support, although the main goal is to provide service interaction to give solutions, but whenever you have the opportunity to make a connection to on a personal level, you should take that opportunity because it will bring or give us opportunity to be closer to the customer and sort of put a nice memory in their mind. Because if we do that, whenever the customer think of good customer support, they probably think of the company. So it leaves a good impression. All right, let's come to this: empathy, sympathy, courtesy, and pity. So these four words has very different meanings, but at times we can get confused. So let's get onto it to clarify. So empathy is putting yourself in other person's shoes and understanding why they may have these particular feelings or emotions. Sympathy, on the other hand, is understanding from your own perspective. Yes, you do involve caring and concern for someone, but you are showing caring and concern without actually understanding why are they having certain emotions. Courtesy, on the other hand, is showing regards of thoughts for others, especially displaying good manners or ethics. And pity is feeling of discomfort and often has paternalistic or condescending overtones. In short, it is simply an expression of sorrow. So let's take a look on empathy and courtesy. They might be similar, but they are actually quite different. So this goes same to sympathy and pity. So despite them having some confusion, hopefully this will help you to clarify it. So let's take a fun fact. All right. So dopamine, a feel-good chemicals in our brain, help increases our empathy for others, making us more willing to adapt to others' needs. So dopamine is actually very important in relation to empathy. So here's are some of the things that we can do to improve our dopamine levels. Reduce processed sugars, take time to meditate, exercise more, maybe walk at least once a day, take a healthy diet, listening to good music, and of course, have sufficient sleeps. So in conclusion, empathy and customer support is one of the perfect duo out there. So empathy is a skill that requires polishing, but it can be very useful and helpful to overall customer experience when it is used correctly. This is because we are emotional creatures, and many, if not most, of our decisions are led by emotions rather than pure logics. So empathy in customer service or customer support can make the brand look more human and help customers see that we are on their side. So keeping this point in mind will affect how we view the other person and influence how we deal with them. However, please be mindful that under emotional stress, we may behave in very different ways than we think we would. So always remember to love and take good care of yourself as well. So thank you for listening. So these are the reference that you can take a look as well. So just an additional information. So and customer supports, these are some ways we can express certain statements. So take a look and feel free to subscribe if you like what you're seeing.